Hey there. Welcome to episode 8 of the Animus podcast. This right here is a weekly podcast focusing on everything Assassin's Creed community, news, and discussion. I'm one of your hosts, Aftermath1231. With me today, as usual, is Aries.
Hello, friends.
And McCracKenway.
Hello, everybody.
And our guest this week is Mr. Finish himself, TalkingSandwich.
Hello.
Today, we'll be discussing talking time in the greater community and on the subreddit. Then we're going to move on to Otso Berg, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Chronicles China, full of spoilers, okay? Just a warning, lots of spoilers. So let's get started. So talking, would you like to tell us a little bit about how you first got into Assassin's Creed?
Let me think. It was years ago. I think it was back when AC2 came out. Well, that was my first encounter with the franchise. The first game that I ever owned was AC3, but I've never had a console. I don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation. So what I used to do is just go to a friend's house and play there, because I was a bum. I just sort of learned games from everyone else, and my friend was like, "Let's play this game," and I was like, "Assassin's Creed 2, what is this? I've never heard of this." And just put it in, and we played it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever," and I loved it. And when I left, I forgot about it for like forever, and then, like a year after that, I discovered YouTube, and I started just watching everyone on there. And then I discovered gaming videos, and through that, I discovered Assassin's Creed again. And, AC3 was coming out around then, and I started like looking into it more, and like, what is this? And then I remembered Assassin's Creed 2 from when I played it at my friend's house. So I started to follow the news and everything about it, and I was like really excited for it, but I didn't, I wasn't sure if I was able to play it because I didn't have a console and I didn't have a proper computer. I wasn't sure if I could run it, so then came Christmas and I got it as a present, and I was just so happy, and it was horrible to play it. I got like 18 frames per second in Boston, and it was just, oh god, I was so mad when I tried to play through it. It was so badly optimized. It was horrible, but I played through it.
And you never played Assassin's Creed again.
Yeah, no, I did, but or else I wouldn't be here now. But I muddled through it, and I finished AC3 and was like, okay, that was pretty good. And then I learned that AC4 was coming out, and was like, oh my god, another Assassin's Creed. Oh, this is amazing. I didn't know that Assassin's Creed was a yearly release back then. So, the cycle started again. I started to follow the news, and sort of that's how I got inducted into the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about when you first got into the online community? Because you're kind of the new guy around.
Yeah, I'm new. It was, I wasn't really aware of how big the community was and how big of a thing Assassin's Creed was up until like a few months ago, back when, Unity came out and they started doing the official live streams on Twitch, and, I watched those, and I noticed how, Gabe and Andy and Justin, they'd recognize names in the chat like Rhino and, other people. And I was like, how do these people know each other? And I started googling names and just I started looking for information. I just discovered all these fan pages and the subreddit, and I was like, holy shit, this is a big thing. And you know, and you know, and I watched the streams, and I didn't really interact with the community that much. I just watched the streams. I didn't like talk anything in the chat, and eventually, a certain leaks came out about a certain game during December, in the beginning of December. Easy Victory, and I started looking for information about those, and somehow I always ended up on the subreddit of Assassin's Creed, and I was like, what is this? What is Reddit? I hadn't ever I didn't have an account or anything, and I just, I started looking into that more and looking at, oh, hey, this is pretty cool, and I made a Reddit account, and then, I subscribed to the subreddit, and about a week after creating the account, I made my first comment on a subreddit post, and I find this extremely funny. I don't know why, but it is still the most upvoted thing that I have ever posted. My first comment on Reddit.
Oh yeah?
Really? Yeah, it's
I'll look that up right now, actually. That's pretty interesting.
yeah.
So
I
while
don't,
Nick is doing that, what is your favorite game that you've played in the AC franchise?
it's a close tie between AC4 and Brotherhood. I love them both. They're amazing.
So once you came on the community, you quickly became you stood out quite a bit because of your activity on this, well, you stood out to me at least, because of your activity on the subreddit, your activity on the Twitch streams, your activity on Twitter and fan pages and all of this stuff. And so while you're one of the newer members of the subreddit and the community, you are probably one of the most valued because of your massive
I don't know about that.
your massive activity, and you're just constantly always there commenting, you have something to say. It's
I spend too much time on the internet. It's horrible. Like in school, during a lesson, I'm on my phone scrolling through the subreddit, looking at is there any interesting new posts, or I'm on Twitter looking at if there's anything, if Rhino has tweeted anything, or if the official Assassin's Creed, Twitter page, if there's any new stuff or anything. Just I spent way too much time on the internet.
So
and
your
that's my
first comment was on March 23rd, and it was about on the thread. So what if AC Victory is unoptimized and buggy like Unity?
Yeah.
I think that's quite a fair comment you have there, and I'll link that in the description for people to check out.
Is it a long comment? Can you read it now?
Step 1, no pre-orders. Step 2, wait for reviews and actual gameplay footage. Don't judge the game based on its E3 demo. Step 3, if it's a piece of shit, don't buy it. Personally, I wish
I remember that comment, yeah.
Personally, I wish Ubisoft would have made Rogues last year's main AC and wait until Q4 this year with Unity.
This week's character discussion is
Otso Berg.
a major character in Assassin's Creed Rogue, particularly in the modern day. He is a Templar, and there are conflicting opinions about him.
This will contain full spoilers for Assassin's Creed Rogue. Among Brahmin, actually. So, let's get started first off. We know you have some strong opinions on him because he's you're Finnish, or from Finland, and
Yes.
he's the only major Assassin's Creed character so far that is also from Finland. Would you like to say something that relates to that?
Well, on top of him being, the only Finnish character in AC, is pretty much the only Finnish character in, anything this big. Usually when someone's, a character in a mainstream media thingy is they're either from Sweden or Denmark. So first when I heard about this character, I was really excited. And when I was playing through Rogue, I got even more excited. He was getting an appearance in an actual game in the series. I didn't think that was going to happen. But as the game progressed, I started to lose faith so much. There's so many things wrong with this character. He sounds great on paper. It's a great idea, and I love it. And there were some things that they did right, but his portrayal in Rogue could have been so much better. He was just, oh god.
So, before we get to there, let's start from the beginning. In the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations multiplayer, as some people will know, you play as a Templar in the Animus training program. And fewer people know that you actually play as Juhani Otso Berg, or however you pronounce it, while he's who you actually play as, and you get to play as him as he's inducted into the Templar Order as a knight at the end of Revelations, which is very, very interesting. Then he makes an appearance in Brahmin, a brief appearance, with his brand new scar across his face, because he's now leading Sigma team, the elite Abstergo, Black Ops team. And that's when we get to Rogue, where he's there. I believe he's investigating the virus that was released.
Yeah, he takes over security, posing as an independent contractor working for Abstergo.
Yeah, and at the same time, he's looking into Shay's memories. Mm-hmm. So, straight off, talking, would you like to tell us about some things that are wrong with his name?
Yes, there's an audio log in Rogue where the character states his name. He's being questioned by Letitia England and Alan Rickman. And the actor who plays Juhani pronounces the name Juhani Otso Berg. And like I said earlier, a Finnish person would pronounce the name Juhani Otso Berg. So it's very different, and I've seen other Finns talk about this and how it made them laugh, and it made me laugh, which is just, that's not something that's supposed to happen when you try to do an intimidating Templar knight. They're not supposed to be funny, and above all else, they should be able to pronounce their own name right.
Yeah. His voice actor is Andreas Asperges, I believe, who is from Canada, and he's also the voice of Cesare and some other voices.
Wait,
in
really?
the universe.
Yes, it's the same actor who plays Cesare.
He did a great job as Cesare.
And also Israel Putnam.
Yeah, Putnam was great, Cesare was great, and Johan was not so great.
Yeah. And now his main motivation, Berg's main motivation in AC Initiates and in Brahmin and overall is because he has a very sick daughter, and that kind of goes out the window in Rogue.
Yeah, I really thought that all of his character development, which, as you said, Sandwich, was great on paper, was completely betrayed in the audio logs in Rogue. So the setup is he has this daughter, and he did some work before, and Abstergo's like, hey, you have skills, a very particular set of skills. We want you because you have those skills to do stuff for us. And he's like, no thanks. And they're like, well, I guess we won't give your daughter the serum that she needs to be well again. And then he suddenly becomes this evil Templar who does all this crazy stuff. And it feels very disconnected.
Yes, it's really weird, and the fact that he has this very ill daughter, it just doesn't make sense because he's very sadistic. He talks about how he wants to torture the assassins, and he, for some reason, hates the assassins like very, very much, and I don't understand it because I can tell you from first-hand experience that having a family member who is very sick, they have pains and it affects their personality, something like that, it does not make you cruel. You might be a bit frustrated, a bit annoyed sometimes. You might get angry a bit easier than other people. I don't know, I don't get angry. But not under any circumstance does it make you enjoy inflicting pain.
Personally, I think it would make more sense if he was angry at Abstergo for not for basically blackmailing him into
that'd make him a great character.
Yeah,
What made me really question the way that he was written was the moment where, talking to your point of his sort of sadism, there's this one scene in the audio log where all these Abstergo guys break in and his daughter starts crying or is upset, and Juhani says, "Give me your gun." And the guy's like, "What?" He said, "That guy over there made my daughter upset." And then he just shoots this guy. Like, whoa. That's
not.
You're at least
really
missing like 4 stages of character development before you can do that. It's like the Tomb Raider reboot where she's like, "Oh no, I killed deer," and then massacres an entire population. He feels so out of place.
Yeah, I that I can almost understand. That's a very good reason to be angry, like someone's threatening your daughter, but to go to the point of shooting them.
And that's quickly as well.
That is just, he's a straight up psychopath, and it just doesn't fit with his character at all. I don't know if Ubisoft, they haven't really cared about stereotypes, but nothing about Johannes' personality says Finnish to me, like nothing at all. Maybe the fact that when he has found a cause, he believes in it and he fights for it. But that's about it. Being cruel, sadism, anger, it's not really nothing, I haven't ever met someone like that in Finland. Never.
It seems more like they tried to do what Daniel Cross was. They wanted to make a main Templar character who's a badass, who gets the job done, who's just this agent who Abstergo goes to when they need something taken care of. That's who Daniel Cross was for the most part.
Very much an anti-Desmond.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they threw in a bit of, the sadism and, him being clearly a psychopath, just, shooting people just like that to make him, the villain that you can hate.
Yeah.
But then they give him a sick daughter. And I don't think that his daughter being sick was mentioned before Rogue. So they sort of, at the same time, they tried to make him a redeemable villain, which just didn't really work out with, all the other stuff that they did. So I think they just, originally there was just supposed to be some random Templar agent who just, gets a job done. And when they were finishing Rogue, they were just like, what, let's make this character Juhani. Just, we'll get some points with that, right? Yeah. People will like that.
It's a very, very strange the way they did this. It seems like Brahmin and Initiates had just two different, and Brahmin Initiates and then Rogue had just two different sets of writers, and there wasn't a whole bunch of communication between them. That's what it seems like.
And the weirdest thing is that, the person who wrote the Initiate stuff for Juhani did work on Rogue.
Oh yeah, so, James Nediger. Is that him? I know he did. He had an interview with ATA.
And he did mention about in that interview about how he wrote about Harlan T. Cunningham and whoever the other guy was. How he wanted to put them in Initiates, but didn't get the chance, and then put them in Rogue. And again, Juhani he's very angry and sadistic, and how he talks about how he wants to make the assassins. Oh god, I forgot the words that I was going to use.
Well,
this is another problem that I have with the character. he speaks with an almost perfect American accent, and he makes no mistakes, never, which is
Wow.
very, very unusual for a Finnish person. Like,
Well-
we're good at grammar, like that's something we're good at, but because English and Finnish are pronounced so differently, almost everyone messes up some pronunciations in English, and he makes none. He's just, like I think I said this. Did I say this, to you guys before or on the subreddit? But he sounds more like an American guy trying to sound Finnish rather than a Finnish person speaking English, and it's just,
Well, this was the same year we found out that revolutionary France actually was British. So I can't fault them on suddenly making
Yeah.
a Finnish character American.
Like we joked about when Victory was sort of leaked, all of the accents of Victory will be French because the one intern who was in charge of all the voices accidentally sent the British files to the Unity team and the French audio files to the Victory team. They're like, shit, we've got to ship the game in 2 weeks. Just leave it in. Doesn't matter. Leave it in. No one will notice. But one last thing, if no one else has any points to make, I would like to say that I love Juhani's coat. I think it is so cool. Am I the
Yeah.
only one?
I was going to bring up
It's
his
a sweet
visuals.
coat.
Pretty cool.
I was going to bring
Yeah,
up his visual design.
Juhani, he's the biggest Shay fanboy there is. His whole outfit
Yes.
is just based on Shay.
It's like a modern Shea coat, and I love that.
Yeah, it's a cool outfit, but I don't like the way they just made him just this random fanboy for Shay. That it didn't make any sense. It
I hope
didn't
Shay
fit his
Senpai
personality.
notices.
Just the way he had an obsession about Shay, it didn't make any sense. Nothing about how he was portrayed in Rogue made any sense, and it just the way he was written, the way he was brought to life by the actor, nothing really. Just they could have at least tried with the voice. Just one phone call. That's all it would have taken to get the name right. Just call the studio, Ubisoft studio in Finland, and ask them how is this name supposed to be pronounced, and I think they would have told them, but they just thought that it's good
What
enough.
if they did call and they purposely told him the wrong name?
I don't think so. That's something we take great pride in, especially our curse words. He a couple times he yells a curse word. I don't know if you know perkele, and again he pronounces it pierkele. It just sounds silly.
Yeah. One thing.
That's also something I laughed at. Him trying to yell a curse word, and it just sounds funny.
One thing that we've had a bit of a discussion on talking over the last few days to weeks was, what is that badge on his coat?
Oh no! Don't bring up the goddamn badge.
Okay, well, I'm going to
just
explain real quick.
Agree to disagree that
No,
you think
okay.
it's the Celtic Tree of Life, and I'll say it's
See,
Yggdrasil.
it's because it's an issue because him and Shay both have the same badge, and it makes sense for Shay to have the Celtic Tree of Life, and it makes sense for Juhani to have Yggdrasil on his coat. So there's a bit of a confusion there as to whether Shay has the Viking, the Norse symbol on him, or does Otso have the Celtic symbol on him, or is it just a design choice and they're supposed to each have different ones? It doesn't
Well,
make
if we're going
I
with
think
the whole
it's,
theme of Juhani as a total Shea fanboy, then it would make sense that he'd copy his button too.
yeah.
Yeah, it does, but they made so many references to Vikings with the Viking armor and sword in the playing as Shay, and how Juhani has some Viking heritage. It would make more sense for it to be Yggdrasil.
The wiki certainly thinks it's Yggdrasil
Yeah, I saw that.
rather than.
I don't think they ever state it though anywhere in the games.
Aftermath, on the video, can you throw up a picture of the button in question so the viewers who haven't necessarily seen it and can't remember can know what we're talking about?
I will do that, Aries.
Good.
And,
Because of the magic of editing, it'll all have already happened.
And I just I noticed something as well. With I think the community has dubbed them Trees of Eden. You know, the pieces of Eden that are featured in Rogue. You know, the ones that hold the world together. It would make more sense for it to be Yggdrasil because it is the, you know, the tree of the world. You know, all the different planes of existence are connected to it, and it holds them together.
Yeah,
You know, with the human world and the god world and the what the hell are they called? You know, Asgard and Jotunheim and all the different planes of existence. You know, they're there. Helheim is one of them as well. I can't remember them all. I think there's like 9 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, I don't know everything about Viking mythology, but it would make more sense for it to be Yggdrasil.
I
Get wrecked off the bus.
suppose. I suppose that we can argue that, but it could also be the Celtic Tree of Life, because
All you who are listening to this podcast, leave in the comments below. Do you think it's the Celtic Tree of Life or Yggdrasil?
We're going to settle this.
I think it was something that was. I think that it's supposed to be an individual for each of them. I think that Shay is supposed to be wearing the Celtic Tree of Life, and Johanna is supposed to be wearing Yggdrasil. They both have very, very similar portrayals in their circular fashion. They're very classically portrayed as circular in that badge form. So I think it could be either one, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we originally found when we first saw the button. Last week, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China was released, and it was released to quite mixed reception. I think that, for the most part, everyone enjoyed... Well, maybe I shouldn't generalize like that, but from what I've seen, most people enjoyed the gameplay, and they enjoyed the art style quite a bit. They enjoyed the stealth focus. They enjoyed that it focused on the fact that assassins don't always kill every single person they see, like we do in the main games, because they put emphasis on getting shadow. I enjoyed the rank system, I enjoyed the score system, but, as I said, there will be spoilers. There was no plot or story to be seen anywhere.
It was it was like a vague outline of a story. I'll give it that at least, but it was not compelling or important in any way.
Here's the
You
thing that
didn't care about it at all. It was just sort of there
Yeah.
to hold it all
Yeah.
together, and I think it would have worked better without the story.
Yeah, if they had just
and-
ignored it completely, it probably would have worked out
Like-
better.
If they
Yeah.
had just put everything, you know, story related, you know, to the Assassin's Scrolls or whatnot, and just, oh god, voice acting is horrible.
To the plot, before we go on to that, sorry, and you can jump back on that. I think one of the main weaknesses of the plot of Chronicles China was that the first level is, you know, here's this guy, you kill him. Oh wait, there's a second guy, go kill him. There's a third guy that shows up now, go kill him. And every time you kill someone, someone else pops up. Those games in the AC franchise tend to be the weaker ones. So Unity, where they just kept on throwing on more characters to the pile, as opposed to, say, you know, 4 or even really 3, and Brotherhood, where and also 2, where you know who everyone is before you start going and killing them all.
2,
And that
they
generally
started
makes
out
for
with,
better.
2, they started out with, it was like half and half. They started out with the list, and then he learned a bit more as
Yeah.
he went. So he had a,
Yeah.
he had a starting
And-
point.
I mean, 2 did kind of like just keep adding characters, but it did a good job of fleshing them out in the sequences beforehand.
Yeah.
I felt like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of, at least like Carlo Grimaldi was introduced to sequence before you actually kill him. Same with the guy you kill before him.
But with the conspirators,
Barbarigo.
there were 2 groups. There were the Patsy,
But-
and then there were the guys in Venice.
We're not talking
And-
about
Barbaric.
AC2 here.
We're not. You're right.
Shut up.
You're right. I'm awful.
So
Okay,
basically, I can sum up with the Assassin's Creed Chronicles China story with Kill Templar, he has the box. Kill Templar, this other guy has the box. Kill Templar, I'm chasing the box. Kill Templar.
wasn't even like-
I have the box.
It wasn't even like chasing the box necessarily. It was like, I'm going to go through this list of Templars
Yeah.
who are in it. There are literally 8 members of this gang. I'm going to just kill all of them.
It just so happens that this guy has the box.
And then you give it to the master, and spoiler alert, then the master dies, and the Templars have the
Yeah,
box.
that
And then
seemed
you go
like-
after the Templars, and you kill Templar, and they don't have the box.
That was like a cheap. That seemed like a cheap jab at trying to elicit some emotional response when they killed him off.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
like,
I
they
don't
never
care.
told
I've
his
heard him
name.
say 5 things.
We didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I cared more about her losing her earlier mentor on the way to see Ezio.
Oh god, no, don't say it.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
mm.
And then there's Ezio
Speaking
in
of
the
Ezio,
game.
let's talk about the voice acting.
Oh my god, Roger
I did
Greg
mention
Smith.
that last time.
Roger Greg Smith.
Yeah,
Oh.
we've deemed him Roger Greg
I think
Smith.
everyone knows about it already, how horrific Ezio sounds in Chronicles China. And it wasn't even necessary. Why did they put him there and reduce him to just some random tutorial? Why?
Yeah,
Why
it
did they
was
do
like
that?
Luma has spoken about this, I think, enough already that I don't need to. But they could have just put it like subtitles or use his. I don't like.
Yeah.
They haven't given a reason why they didn't use Roger Craig Smith, the
I
original
think-
voice actor. Like,
Money. That's probably it. Money.
but I
And
think
also,
that
I think
he
it
loved
was
the
just-
character enough that he would have worked something out. Like the budget, I don't. He's has always had a good relationship with Ubisoft and all of this, and I think that he probably, if he needed to, I think he would have done it for free. They have so
Yeah.
few lines in it that they could
Yeah,
have
it was-
emailed him the lines, and then he could have done them in his home studio in one night. Like he doesn't have a big enough a part that it would have been a money issue.
It was really weird. I think it was mentioned in one of the scrolls that something that wasn't shown in Embers, that Ezio apparently trained Xiao Yun, who already was a full-fledged assassin.
It was very, very briefly mentioned, and then they skipped over it to focus on the
It didn't
emotional
make any
aspects.
sense. The same way with, Xiao Yun's one of the most iconic thing about her, her foot blade. It was just, it was mentioned in one sentence in one scroll, and that was it.
Yeah, we don't really know the origin of the foot blade or why the Chinese used the foot blade instead of the hidden blade.
I think it's
apparently
just
it
her
was ju-
thing. It's mentioned
it was
as like she wanted something that suited her
No, that-
dancer
that was-
slash acrobatic style more.
That was
and
in,
so she.
That was in reference to the rogue dart that she made.
No, that
No,
was
it
in
was
reference to
the foot
the
blade.
same explanation was also given to the foot blade. The
Oh.
rogue dart and the foot
Yeah.
blade got the same exact explanation. They just copy pasted the goddamn thing.
I like how they managed. They
Why?
remembered to explain why she didn't have her foot binded, her feet binded when she was young, because she was a dancer, and the emperor wanted to keep her dancing ability, and so they didn't have her feet binded.
I liked the foot blade animations as well, but I was actually kind of disappointed that most of the assassination she performs with the sword.
Yeah, it was. She did use the blade of all when assassinating the main targets.
So when she does,
Well,
she
that
like
really mattered
I think
because
she
you
kicks him in the
didn't care
gut and
about
then
the
kicks
main.
him in the head.
One thing that they don't actually outright say in the game, and unless you know the meaning of the word eunuch, you probably wouldn't know it. But
Yeah.
Oh,
all of the
yeah.
Templars are eunuchs, and all eunuchs don't have genitals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're males who have had their ding-dongs cut off.
Yep. I thought that was very interesting, and it brought out a very different picture for each character. They seemed less menacing.
No wonder the Templars
That must
are
be
so
why they're all so
grumpy.
evil.
Yeah, they're very grumpy.
Yeah.
And
I would be
ugly
evil too if that happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also
No
a
offense
key
to any
part.
eunuchs who are listening to this podcast. We love you very much.
A very large eunuch viewer base.
Yeah. The eunuchs have played a big role in what we're going to talk about next week in AC3's novel Forsaken, but we won't spoil that.
Oh
yet.
yeah. Man, I should reread that. I don't have it though. With me right now.
Well, then you're out of luck.
I'll email you
Yeah.
my hard copy.
Okay then.
Yeah, that's how that works. Anything else you want to talk about?
should we talk about the gameplay and
Oh,
how
gameplay?
the game is shit on PC?
Oh yeah, okay, we should mention that. Gameplay, I love the gameplay a lot. It works really
Yeah, it was
well.
great.
But I
Lovely.
think one thing that they did wrong was the Helix kill, which basically breaks the game and allows you to get a gold roller every single time. It's
Yeah.
amazing how good that is, that it's like overpowered and unbalanced.
I'm not really. I mean, the combat's fun in itself, I guess, but because they place such an emphasis on doing shadow, especially I've now played through the game twice, once normally and once on plus hard, or sorry, just plus mode, and now to get all the achievements, I have to go back and just grind combat kills because I didn't do any of those in the entire game.
Yeah, the only time I've actually ever done combat is in the tutorials where I have to do combat. The rest of the time is just stealth.
Yeah. Briefly, we should mention that Talking has played through the game once. McCracKenway has played through the game one full
Twice.
time, two full times.
Twice.
Aries hasn't finished it, and I've played through it 3 times.
Finals, I'm sorry.
What are your finals like?
No.
I'll
We're talking about
ask later.
Chronicles China here. And Talking
Oh.
is taking his only playthrough took quite a long time because of
Yeah,
some
I-
issues that he
17
talked about.
hours. I have 17 hours on Chronicles China.
Holy shit!
It's supposed to take 5 to 6 hours to complete the goddamn game.
So, would
I'm
you like to
so
tell us
sorry.
about, because you're playing on PC, you're the only one here who's playing
Yeah.
on PC. Would you like to tell us about how it functions on there?
I can summarize it in one sentence. Worse optimization than AC3 or Unity.
Oh, that's a
I have
Wow.
overclocked
Words.
both my processor and my graphics card, and I still get frame rate drops every now and then in the game.
And
With overclocked graphics card and a processor.
so badly optimized.
How does it happen with those graphics? How is that even possible? Second thing, you can't rebind the controls on your keyboard. And that is really weird. You have to block with C, which is right under D, and it's really hard. And
Looking at my
like I
keyboard
said, you
now,
can't.
that seems horrible.
Yeah, you can't rebind them.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I encountered a bug in AC Chronicles China where the keyboard didn't work properly. I couldn't do anything with it in the menu, and when I tried to play the game, pressing D minimized the game into,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It didn't crash or anything, it just minimized the game, so I had to restart the game for it to work properly. And, I had 13 crashes with AC Chronicles China, of which 11 required me to restart my computer, because it crashed my whole computer. Even Unity didn't do that, and Unity crashed like once every 15 minutes.
Wow.
How do you do? Like, how is that even possible?
I'm so sorry.
I don't think I can bring myself to play through it again on the plus mode, because it's oh my god, I'll see nightmares of this game. Like after 10 years, 10 years from now, I'll still see nightmares about AC Chronicles China. It is definitely worth 10 whatever currency is. It's just maybe €5 or dollars or whatever you have, but not 10. Oh my god.
Interesting.
And if you're thinking of buying AC Chronicles China, don't buy it on PC.
Will you be
Just
getting
don't.
India and Russia?
No,
I think he'll watch them online.
I'll watch them online. I just,
Aftermath will surely be streaming them.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'll watch those, but I just Chronicles was more of a disappointment than Unity.
Oh yeah.
But I did like the art style. The art style was
Yeah,
magnificent.
very
art style
beautiful art style. I
fantastic.
No,
really enjoyed
gameplay
the art
was a
style.
plus, and art style was a plus. Everything else was just weird.
Yeah.
Also something. The guards spawn randomly sometimes when you restart from checkpoint, and
Yeah.
the way they move their heads, where their vision cone goes. That's also sometimes random.
Where you restart back in time when you restart the checkpoint, where the guards are and their patrols and things. It's just it seems random and it's very difficult to plan for.
Yeah, when someone is trying to plan a speed run, and it's random almost every time. So the AI could be better as well, and you know that when you have a side-scroll game like this, you can't really have that much, randomized elements.
When speedrunning, because of the randomized elements, we have actually decided that you have to start from the main menu every time, because restart checkpoint could either give you an advantage or a disadvantage, and we have no idea which. Each time it will be different.
Wow. Is there an unofficial speedrunning constitution already been drafted?
Yes, you can find it at the Assassin's Creed subreddit, so it's reddit.com/r/Assassin's Creed/wiki/Chronicles Speedrun Index with underscore.
I was joking, but wow, you're being serious.
Yeah, they've got it up already.
Yeah. Myself and a few others have been doing some competition there, and we're going to have we plan to have a tournament on the subreddit at some point, probably before India comes out. So we have some plans.
Do we know when India comes out?
My guess was August. But
yeah, I think it's towards the end of the summer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One more thing about AC Chronicles China. It has an after credits scene, which is just the worst excuse for an after credits scene. It's just horrible, and you have to sit through of 9 or 10 minutes of credits to see it, and it's just.
And they prompt you to skip it as well. That's a big problem.
Yeah,
everyone skipped it.
Like in Unity, you at least got the option to speed up the credits, even though there was nothing at the end.
So it only takes 3 hours instead of 7.
Yeah, and you can still cure AIDS and cancer during it. But in Chronicles China, there is none of that, so it takes 10 minutes, and it feels longer than Unity, because the music is, it's not that good.
And, okay, before we move on, or before we wrap up, I'd just like to mention that the box situation, instead of enlightening us about what the box is, like we thought it would, it's actually just made it more confusing and more of a clusterfuck.
No, it didn't. When you read the scrolls and listen to the dialogue, which is just horrific, with the voice acting that is just crap. Sha Yun, her voice, Sha Yun is pretty much like Bella Swan from Twilight. It's just emotionless.
Now, before we get on to, actually we need to mention voice acting, but the box, it's suddenly that the box is empty and it's a metaphor, then suddenly at the end it's actually a precursor box, but is it related to the Rogue One? We don't know. Is it related to Frienkai in any way? Is it an empty metaphor box and also a precursor box? It's left us with more questions than it answered at all. And
welcome to Assassin's Creed.
All we know is that the box was empty, and the box itself is interesting, and not what was in it, like we always thought.
Yeah. The box is incomplete.
Oh yeah, I said, yeah. Don't even get me started on that. Voice acting?
What should I say? Incomplete.
Voice acting is a little insane. We've continued the trend of, let's just make every historical character British
accents for everyone.
Everyone is British because that's what the movies do, and we don't have enough time to put in the effort.
It's cinematic, guys. It's cinematic.
Sha Yun's voice, it was good in Embers.
Yeah.
And then they just changed it completely.
I like what Luma said. How
it was a bit stereotypical on Embers and a bit
maybe
much,
a bit, but
they could have. They went too far the other direction, I think.
Yeah.
I like what Luma said. He said that
entire character is completely different from how it was in Embers.
Luma said that AC should be held to a higher standard than this. They can't just go with everyone being British because that's what the movies do. That's what the TV documentaries do. It shouldn't be like that. They've easily did it with Altair in Revelations. They did it with Ezio in all of his games. They did it with Connor in his. They even got experts that spoke that native language of Connor's and yet for some reason they couldn't hire someone who could put on a Chinese accent or someone from China to do it somehow. Like Roger Craigsmith is American and he did an amazing Italian accent, but for some reason,
although he says that he gets a lot of crap for it from actual Italian people. That was part of his
but at least
answer.
it sounds authentic.
But we liked
it.
it.
Everyone
we
else
liked
thinks it's
it.
authentic.
Yeah, no.
Molto
And
bene.
they couldn't get someone, or they couldn't instruct British women to suddenly put on a Chinese accent. It was just like, make some words sound like you don't understand how to pronounce English words.
Yeah.
And then there's Ezio's in it, and it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what Climax was doing, or if they didn't care. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And then
except
at the
for
end, in the credits, they don't actually list roles in it. They just list a whole bunch of names, so we can't beat anyone up for shitty Xiaojun or shitty Ezio.
So, bottom line, AC Chronicles India, please, dear God, make it better.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get British again. I know that. I think I can handle that because we know Arbaz Mir has a British accent from the trailer. And if they don't bring in some other character that's beloved by everyone, if they suddenly make Connor's corpse appear and start speaking in a French accent, then I think it'll be okay.
Connor and Unity confirmed.
Yeah.
Connor in Unity. Yeah.
I think if the gameplay is mostly the same, maybe expanded on a bit because it's a progressing series, then I will be happy with the game regardless. Like, even with China, it's got a lot of things that we're picking on, but I feel like as a whole, I enjoy this game. So
yeah, it was fun.
I would recommend getting it. Probably not on PC, it seems.
Not
but
on PC. Not
on
PC.
PS4. I don't know about Xbox One, but I haven't heard any complaints about Xbox One, so I would assume you're fine.
Yeah, PS4 and Xbox One, perfectly fine. We didn't.
Plus, the controls are great on those.
Yeah, the controls work really well with the controller. We didn't get it on the last gen consoles like Peggy told us we would. They lied to us.
Yeah, I think
Did it ever come out on Vita?
Is it? I hope it comes out on Vita. It looks great for Vita. But yeah, so that's Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Looking forward to India and Russia over the next few months. And
Are we?
with I am. I think that Climax probably isn't going to fuck up as bad with the next two.
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
Not that they
Now,
necessarily.
there's one last thing. Why is it that both Xiaojun and Arbaz Mir have British accents, yet Nikolai has a Russian accent?
Because Russian accents are easier to understand.
Okay.
That's around the ears or something. I don't know.
Because don't question it. I don't know.
I was trying to make a show it in the Russia joke, but I couldn't come up with anything.
I guess because like even in
Show with the Russia accent does you.
even in movies and TV and stuff, they keep Russian accents Russian for the most part.
They actually got Vladimir Putin to do the role of Nikolai Orlov for AC Russia.
Okay, cool. You can find, as I mentioned briefly, the Assassin's Creed Chronicles speedrun index is at reddit.com/r/Assassin's Creed
Still
/wiki
seems to be the only person that's posted anything.
Chronicles speedrun index _ between the words. You can also find it on the wiki index. I'm the only one on there because no one else is doing it, and I was the last one to beat out the other guys and provide proof.
Well, I will.
You
record a
should get on
speedrun
that.
at
You
this
said you
level
would.
and just
I'd
post one.
try, but
And so,
it's
it's
for
been
me,
it's
game
been
would just
inactive for the
probably
last
crash.
week because I don't feel like beating my time over and over again or trying to. I think that wraps up the episode for this week. Thanks for joining us, Talking. Where exactly, would you like to tell us where people can find you?
on Twitter I'm at Talking5andwich because some douchebag had already taken at TalkingSandwich, but I should come up if you just search Twitter with Talking space Sandwich. I'm the guy with the funny profile picture with the sandwich with the googly eyes and the glasses and everything.
And on Reddit?
I'm the Talking Sandwich because I think someone had already taken Talking Sandwich there as well.
Okay.
On Uplay, you can add me as a friend if you want. I'm the_sandwicher because someone had already taken Talking Sandwich on Uplay as well. Are you starting
Bad
to see
luck.
the pattern here?
All right. And all the
I
music,
think that's about it.
all the music that was used in this episode can be found in the description, probably, if I remember, along with timestamps. If you're on YouTube, you'll find timestamps. I'm not sure if that's going to be on iTunes. For everything we discussed, as usual, you can reach us on the Assassin's Creed subreddit, which is assassinscreed.reddit.com or reddit.com/r/Assassin's Creed, as well as on Twitter and through our email, animusislandpodcast@gmail.com. Next week, we're joined by my good friend Sergeant Wonka to discuss Assassin's Creed 3's tie-in novel, Forsaken.
Ooh.
If you'd like to be a guest or would like to ask us a question to answer on the show, then you can contact us in any of the ways listed earlier, any ways listed in the description. Once again, thanks for joining us. Have a good night.